Hi all, thanks for joining us. We're just going to be going through a quick overview of our new LEMER program. Again, it will be posted on the website after, and most of this information, if not all of it, you can also find in our RFP that's posted on the website as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to minimize you all on the side there. There we go. Okay, so funding. So the Budget Act of 2022 appropriated $10 million to the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund towards this program. So the maximum grant amounts for this project are dependent on the selected impact areas, which are in program impact areas of the RFP. However, CDFA staff may offer an award different than the amount requested in your pre-proposal and full proposal. Matching funds are not required for this program, but are strongly encouraged. The maximum project term is 46 months, and we're hoping to start next spring. And grant funds cannot be expended before the grant agreement start date or after the grant term end date. Eligibility for this program: California Department of Food and Ag LEMER program will award competitive grants to universities with or without a private partnership, nonprofit research organizations, and California Native American tribes. Private companies are eligible to partner with an entity listed above, but are not eligible for the award on their own. Priority will be given to California-based projects. If funding decisions, we will be prioritized in funding decisions. However, CDFA welcomes applications from out-of-state organizations, but we're emphasizing that they really need to directly address California's unique dairy and rangeland needs. So that will be one of the questions that we're asking in this pre-proposal. The purpose of the LEMER program, our goals include the reduction of methane emissions to 40% below 2013 levels by 2030, which we're all familiar with SB 1383, as well as efforts to continue advancing climate smart agriculture. The funding allocated from the Budget Act of 2022, Section 194, will be directed towards the dairy and livestock sectors for demonstration projects with two important goals. The first, to supplement feed with additives or ingredients that have scientifically demonstrated efficacy of reducing methane emissions. And the second, whoops, I see we have two number ones here. So the second one is to research dietary modifications that are intended to reduce methane emissions from livestock. So phase one of the pre-proposal, which is the phase that we're in right now, is open to all eligible applicants, and they're required to submit a pre-proposal containing the necessary information. Upon submission, CDFA will have an internal review panel that will provide feedback to the applicants. And this is only to applicants that are selected to move on to phase two, not those that haven't passed the first phase, indicating whether or not they should proceed to phase two by submitting a full proposal. And again, open to all eligible applicants on the last page. So the pre-proposal has a page limit of 3 pages, and it's 7 questions, which I will review in the next slide here. So quickly going to go over these. Again, all of these are listed in the RFP that's posted on the website, but we really want to see a brief overview of the project, including the scale, livestock sector, and how this project aims to address the 2 goals mentioned earlier. The second is to provide a brief explanation of the impact area your project will focus on and how it will address that impact area. If you are, your project will be focusing on more than one impact area, please clearly explain how it will address each one. 3 is to explain any unique aspects of the methods or team that will contribute to the success of the proposed work. 4, address any anticipated challenges or barriers you see during the grant solicitation grant term. And we also want to know how those challenges will be met and addressed during that duration. Number 5 is provide the award amount requested for the project. This is just an estimate right now. We don't need anything formal. It can really just be a couple sentences. We just want to get an idea of what your project will be requesting. Number 6 is provide any other relevant information for the successful completion of the project. So any other details you think our internal tech review panel panel might find important when reviewing your application. And number 7 is if you are out of state or those that are within California as well, explain how your project will address California's unique dairy and rangeland needs. So how to submit these pre-proposals? We will have them open for, I guess, about 3 more weeks now. They're due on August 7th, 2023 by 5 p.m. Pacific time. Please include a name, email, and address in either in that pre-proposal or whoever will be sending the pre-proposal to us, this Enteric methane reduction at cdfa.ca.gov email. Just someone that we can contact with either the feedback or disqualification emails, someone that will serve as the primary contact for this. So please make sure to include that in there somewhere. Again, please submit these proposals by email to the one listed here, also on our website. No late submissions will be accepted for this, and all communications will take place via email or phone number that you have provided. Again, please email us if you have any questions. We won't go into very detailed questions at this time, but if you do have a more general question about the application process or submitting your proposals, please contact us. A quick overview of the timeline. So currently we are in phase 1. The request for pre-proposals has opened as of July 6th and will close, open for about a month, and will close August 7th. We will start our review process right after that in September, and we will have the recommendations to phase 2 notifications sent out sometime in September. Our phase 2 will officially begin after notification letters are sent out in September, and that will be open for a few months with full proposals due November 1st. From there, they will be sent to an additional tech review panel in November. Review and recommendations will go to secretary, and award announcements will be, by December 2023. And we will also have notification letters sent out to those applications in December as well. The award process, we are thinking will take us a few months from December through February. This is where that 120 days comes in for your grant to be fully executed, with projects hoping to begin April 1st of 2024 and run for about a 46-month period until February of 2028. And with that, I will hand it over to Catherine.
Thank you, Dana. In terms of where the funds are coming from, the legislative mandate is, of the funds appropriated, $10 million shall be used to, number 1, provide funding to the dairy and livestock sectors for demonstration projects to supplement feed with additives or ingredients, such as seaweed, that have scientifically demonstrated efficacy of reducing methane emissions. And number 2, to research dietary modifications that are intended to reduce methane emissions from livestock. Next slide, please. So we identified 4 impact areas to address that legislative mandate that was given for the $10 million. So these are our impact areas that must be addressed in order to receive funding for the grant. Impact area number 1, it's one project will be funded up to $2.5 million for the administration of feed additives for one full and or multiple lactations. So it's going to be to determine the methane reduction efficiency in a variable diet. There should be an economic analysis and greenhouse gas reduction of the project, impact of the project. It should take a look at upstream and downstream emissions impact, including manure emissions. And feed additives for use in this area must demonstrate a successful history of use for enteric methane reduction. And that goes back to the legislative call that there has to be this, scientifically demonstrated history of the product reducing methane emissions. So this project must include a plan for attaining federal approval through the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. So products must be in the queue or working towards an approval with FDA. Next slide, please. For impact area number 2, up to 2 projects, up to $1.5 million per project. This is looking at dual intervention studies or studies investigating 2 or more interventions. So one project will be awarded to a protocol for a parallel usage and one for a sequencing protocol. So in parallel, we're talking about using two entities at the same time. In sequencing, it would be using one entity following another entity. So for example, 3-NOP and seaweed used together, 3-NOP and plant extracts used together or in sequence, etc. Next slide, please. Impact area number 3 is for 2 projects up to $1.25 million per project. And these projects are for projects focused on cow-calf grazing systems. So the studies could include, but aren't limited to, early life intervention strategies and monitoring, salt lick bait delivery systems, bolus technology, water delivery, or other deliverable or applicable ways to provide an additive via a pasture system. Multiple trials are encouraged for this impact area. Next slide, please. And impact area number 4, 2 projects up to $750,000 per project for projects researching dietary modifications that are intended to reduce methane emissions from livestock. So this is addressing the second legislative mandate that was placed upon this funding. So the examples include dietary manipulation, such as improving forage quality, altering the proportions of forage in the diet, etc. So please note that if any of the products are not approved for use or are undergoing a federal approval process and do not have an investigational food use authorization, the applicants must acknowledge that the end products, milk or meat, will not enter the human food supply chain. And livestock feed trials are required for all of these impact areas. Next slide, please. And I'll turn it back over to Dana to walk us through the evaluation and scoring criteria.
Thanks, Catherine. So our evaluation process for the pre-proposals will be conducted by an internal technical review panel consisting of subject matter experts who are responsible for the evaluation of submitted pre-proposals. First, the internal technical review panel will select the pre-proposals to be developed into full proposals based on alignment with the program's priority impact areas, project concept, scientific merit, impacts, methodology, feasibility, which we will gather from those 3 pages and set the questions asked earlier. The CDFA staff will notify applicants of the technical review panel's decisions and invite selected applicants to submit full proposals. Again, that will all take place over email or phone call. Full proposals will be evaluated by a technical review panel, including 2 members of the FIAB task force, and will send its recommendations to CDFA secretary for final approval and award executions in December. Oops. There we go. So our scoring criteria that we're going to look at really has to go along with those 7 questions addressed earlier, so I won't go through them all in detail. But essentially, the first 3 are weighted a little bit higher, and that is how well did the applicants describe project overview and their plan to meet those funding goals? How well does the project meet and address goals of selected impact areas, and how well are the project methods explained? So you can see by the points on the right-hand side, we did weight those a little bit more, so that's what we will primarily be focusing on in the evaluation process. For those that are out of state or in state, we just also want to highlight question number 7, and how well it addresses California's unique dairy and rangeland needs. That one also has a little bit more weight than some of the others as well. So this will be a total of 35 points for the pre-proposals. Just wanted to highlight some resources again we have on our website. So the phase 1 RFP is called the 2023 LEMER-RP request for proposals. And again, you can find that on our website. You can sign up for our email notifications on the website as well in the top right-hand corner. And we will be posting this workshop on the website for you to review later. And with that, I think we will pause for just a minute.